And hunting, frankly, I don't know if you've ever done any. It's boring. You think
Right.
fishing? You think
Yeah.
fishing is boring? Oh no, fishing's awesome in comparison. Hunting is super boring because fishing you can get comfortable, hunting you can't.
Right.
So
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a whole lot, I mean, there's not a whole lot of picking your shot, taking it down, or dramatic chase, or anything like that. There's not a lot of that compared to sort of wandering around and sitting and saying, well, a critter might pass this way because of this plant, so
Right.
let's just sit here for a while, that kind
Right.
of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So there's plenty of time, really. Um, there isn't really like a charm make friends role in this game. That's not really part. I mean, a non-manipulative
Right.
version isn't really part of this. Just like there's no direct convincing
Hmm.
role. So basically,
Right.
just start role playing. Vefselk is, well, not sorry. Telech is much more. Whoop, 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 I'm getting my names all mixed up. Start all over. Okmev is at first, sort of like, this. Oh no, this chick's a talker. But but after that, is actually kind of is kind of interested. So doesn't say, oh really, wow, that's fascinating. Oh, you come from really
Right.
far away. None of that. But it's just kind of the quiet, relaxed shoulders, I'm listening pose that he's got. That's all you need,
Hmm.
right? It's the equivalent of
Yeah.
active listening from a human. So okay, what about Farith um, and Ithasha at this point?
I'm just going to find a spot and sit down,
Mm-hmm.
probably with my back to some rock or
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
wall.
The water actually with its little waterfall and
So
everything. That's
basically,
mhm.
yeah, I probably take and clean myself off,
Right, right.
Yeah, I will do the same. And
Okay.
while we
and
do,
then
I'm going
just
to.
sit down somewhere and kind of look over the place and try to
Not
figure out
mhm.
what it is.
Not to be too crude or to spend much time on this, but um, Farith, are you actually bathing? I'm curious.
I think I'm washing. No, I think I need to bait.
Right.
I
Okay.
didn't cross my mind, but
Right.
I am, yes.
Okay. By the time you're done, you will have noticed that Telech has not lost the opportunity to take a look at weird human anatomy. It's just the dusters
Yeah.
think that dusters. It's you see, I've been thinking about this. Dusters are mammalian effectively. They're kind of reptile mammalian in human form, and they deal with mammals all the time. So human anatomy isn't weird to them in some sort of freakish way as biology, but it is weird to them that a humanoid would have it.
Yeah.
Right. So you remember this from the Jackal tribe. There's any time you
Yes.
got dressed,
Yeah.
somebody went.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so there's that. But the two of you, your dialogue interests me.
Yeah, while we bait, I'm going to lean over to Itasha, which I guess is doing her own thing nearby. And I'm going to ask, are you comfortable with these people? And you feel like we are safe?
So far, yes.
Okay. Then I take her reassurance because this is I'm a bit out of my element now, so I guess I will take that as a reassurance. And a few moments later, I'm going to start the dialogue because I guess Itasha is doing her duster thing, and she's done for this discussion with that 3 words. And so a moment later, I'm going to go and say, so what do you think? They are referring to when they say they want to hear about our stories. Because this sounds to me like tribes stuff.
Probably depends on how much they are living close to those humans.
Yeah. Because I'm wondering if they know anything about the twins.
We will
And if
find
they-
out.
That's okay. Okay, I will.
We will talk.
Okay. I'm going to be, kind of trying to realign myself with this, because even if I'm kind of reserved for human terms, I mean, generally used to have longer conversations.
Right.
So I can
Oh,
picture
we're done?
myself
We're done? Okay,
starting
we're done.
and
Even
So-
longer?
Hmm.
so I can picture like him doing this bit of dialogue and turning around like he's leaving, and then turning back and asking the new question,
Right.
and always getting this back and forth.
Mhm.
So after a while, I pick up my stuff, get out of the water, and I think that I was thinking it before we took the bath, but even more because of this, I'm going to pick up my papers and start drawing this
okay.
spot.
Okay.
I want a sketch of this spot
Oh, I see.
because it feels significant. So I'm starting to do that.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that could. So with this happening, briefly, I don't want to spend as much time on this as we seem to be, but briefly, I want Vefselk, do you want to tell me what you are telling Okmev?
Yeah, I was thinking about this, and I think I'm telling a story about, because I'm like sensing that he kind of wanted to get away from the main group. So I'm telling the story of the humans that we encountered and how they were hanging on to us like a leech, and they wouldn't stop, talking and all this stuff. And I'm just like, I think I'm kind of at one point I'm talking about this big emotional interaction between that I was watching the two of them have when they were telling Athasha and Farith the story of how they got there, and I'm just like, I don't know how you live so close to these people, and I kind of look at them because I'm wondering how Dusters cope with humans. I kind of thought maybe it'd be different.
Mm-hmm. Well, he says that that his people deal with are close to the humans along the Great River, and that many of his tribe routinely go and stay with them or treat with them or exchange goods and things like that. He personally much prefers to be out here, and much prefers to. He says that he doesn't like all of uh, the conflicting little subgroups, among the tribe, and all the different, who has to be friends with whom and who has to remember what was done 200 years ago and be mad about it and things like that.
Right.
And so is basically saying, I have nothing against the humans themselves, but they always seem to, the more of them, then the more of my people mix with them. That's just more people in total, and that gets to me. So I like to be out here. And one thing about the humans is that they don't deal well with our different forms. And so, out of politeness, we typically don't transform much around them unless we're friends, and it's kind of they only have one form, and so they don't really quite get it. But his main thing, though, he's interested. He says, well, you were dealing with Casca's people. You were dealing with they live, and he gestures in such a way as to mean downriver. And he says, yes, we deal with them all the time. They have their horses, and they have they gain things from trade up and down the river, and then we interact with them. And in fact, he says, have you had peaches?
I think that question is met with Vesselk is in kind of this horrified silence, hearing this Duster call the Drake / serpent form the other form that we don't it seems like they have a really weird relationship, these Dusters, with what she views as just half of their physical body. And so when he's asking about the peaches, she shushes him, and maybe there's some animal passing by.
Right.
And before she's talking and ruining all the ability to get
no
the
back
game
to the
come.
hunt.
But
Back to the hunt. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, but one thing that you should pick up is that they are very familiar with the not just the region, but the actual family that Listas comes from.
Right. Yeah.
So they, he said, yeah, that's Casca's people. You were dealing with some of them for some reason.
Right.
So that interaction is going on, but I will point out that you seem to have broken the ice as far as getting along with the guy is concerned.
I think so.
The hunt itself is probably not difficult or confusing or in any way, and so you will eventually come back with food. Now, by the time you come back, your friends are a lot cleaner, and in fact, Telech, who has had his nap, is more than happy to look around in the caves a little bit and sort of assess whether either of you really, some of your clothes just may not have made it, and so if there's maybe a replacement that he can offer. They don't have a whole department store in those caves, but they have a few things. And so he looks. He might give you, one of those, like a cape to wear or something like that. So, but while he comes out of the cave, with holding some things for you that he might give you, and he sees you drawing, goes very still. And you may want to recognize that you have seen that kind of stillness before, just before Vesselk bites someone.
I stop the drawing process and look at him, look at the clothes, and putting down my drawing block. I say, are those for us?
He says, if your clothes are not, are beyond repair, any of them, please feel free to, please have these. Very much in kind of and it's no big deal kind of way. We don't make a big deal out of this. It's not commerce as far as he's concerned. So it doesn't even, that whole please feel free, I just realized that all those words are absent. They don't fit.
Yeah.